Hello, everyone. Welcome back to X-Plane 11. Once again, my name is Jeff Aviano. Today, we're going to check out the Just Flight Piper Arrow 3 that recently came out. You can get this at xplane.org. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out. It is $41.99. You might be saying to yourself, well, that's kind of steep for a small GA airplane. And I would agree with you normally, but this airplane is fantastic. And I will show you the reason why it's worth the amount that it is. In my opinion, it's definitely worth it. With that said, it is Just Flight, and I'm very excited to see a developer like Just Flight that normally makes airplanes for Prepared and FSX come over to the X-Plane world and show it some love, because this thing is fantastic, and I'm very happy to have it. With that said, this is not a paid promotion, sponsorship, none of that. I purchased this airplane myself, and I want to show you my initial impressions of it and what I thought of it. On top of that, we're going to be in Lakeland. We're in Lakeland right now. You can get this scenery on xplane.org. It is a freeware scenery. It's just Lakeland, not the airshow version. And we're going to fly around Lakeland. We are going to do some VOR work to show you how the radios work with the Lakeland VOR itself. And with that said, check out the outside exterior model of this airplane. Very well done. You can see we've got chocks on the nose gear, on the main gear. We've got tie downs. You can change liveries on the fly. Actually, I'll show you in a minute. But I really like this one of November 4131 Charlie. And very, very good detail here on the exterior model. And I really like to see that. I hear a little airplane out there taxiing around. We have World Traffic 3 running with X-Enviro 1.07 running. And this thing just screams, let's go fly. This is an RG airplane, meaning that it does have retractable gear. These are not fixed gear. So you will get some more speed out of it, which is nice. You know, if you want to fly the Airfoil Labs 172, you're going to get about 120 knots. And this one, we're going to get about 20 knots faster because we have retractable gear, which is really nice. So with that said, let's hop into the cockpit and check it out. Here we are greeted with the Piper Arrow's interior, and some differences are that the trim wheel is actually down here. On most Pipers, it's up here, and you can see it's been removed. It's usually like a crank on the top, and this one is a little bit different. Let's hit the 1 keys or pre-programmed views, and you'll see that the fuel is currently in the shutoff side. There's no both on a Piper, so we have left tank and we have the right tank. Now, you have to change these in flight every 15 minutes to balance out the fuel. However, you can turn on Auto Fuel SW here, and it will take care of it for you. I really do like that little detail. If we go back to here, we can click on this and it opens the door. There goes the door right there. And this will open the outside little door right back there. There's quite a few things. This will pop out the GPS. This here is the scratches on the glass. You can turn that off if you would like. There goes a little Cessna taxiing out. This is for the reflections, as you can see right there. You can turn those on and off if you would like. I like them on. It gives it some character. This airplane, in the inside, the texture work is fantastic. Look at this. You got worn metal here. You've got grass, like down here on the floor panel. It is really, really nice. I really like the texture work in this airplane. It's pretty good stuff. This is your dome light. This here, I forget what this one is. Oh, this is our autopilot panel. That's what that is. This will change between inches and millibars right here on your altimeter. We have this button here. This is the refill window, and we can refuel if we would like from here by hitting refill. And we can also recharge the battery. Now, spark plug fouling is at 5% because I've flown this airplane a little bit. And there's also vapor lock you can have. So you can simulate those things. You can recharge the battery. This is where you check all that stuff. 5% of spark plug fouling, not too bad at all, to be perfectly honest with you. If we click on this one, it'll give us the weight and balance, the basic one from X-Plane. I would like to see Just Flight have their own. I think that'd be really cool. This button here is our audio panel, so you can control all of these sounds based off of the dials right there. This button, don't hit that one. That one will well, maybe you want to, but it will reset your flight completely. This one here is our checklist. We're not going to be using a checklist today. It's just, it would take way too long. We're just going to wing it and have fun and see what the airplane's all about. But you can go through different pages of checklists and you can click on things, which is fantastic. Like a B4, like a pre-flight here, you say land, leave her down. You can make those green so you know you check them off. Pretty neat stuff. This one here is our flight computer. It tells us all, basically anything you want to know. If you want to cheat and know what your tailwind component is, your crosswind component. We have about 13 knots of wind out there blowing around. This is our logbook if we want to check that out. And you can see these are the flights that I've done in the airplane already and how many landings I have and so on and so forth. That's built into X-Plane, so that's nothing new there. Let's put that away. This one is to bring up the pushback controls. I did install better pushback. Everybody was telling me to do that, and I used to have it, and there's a brand new version out, so that's pretty cool. This one will give us the wheel chocks on the outside. So if we go outside here, you'll notice there's no chocks there, and now there are tie downs and chocks. So that puts those away. And you can change the liveries on the fly right here by clicking right and left. It'll change out those liveries like that. That's a pretty cool looking one there. But I really like this one that I had before, which is November 4131 Charlie. That's one I like. So we're going to check everything out here. It looks pretty clear. Where's that little guy going? The little Cessna. I saw him leave. I think they're using runway 5, I would imagine. So he's probably off to our right. Yep, there he is down there taxiing over runway 5. Fantastic. All right, well, let's fire this thing up and see what she's all about. So we've got our trim set to neutral right there. It's our different preset cameras. This one is normally higher. I brought it down because in a Piper, the key is not here on the left-hand side. It's directly underneath the yoke. And if you're sitting here, you can't even see it. You know what I mean? So I have this one here set like that. So let's turn on the master battery. Let's turn on our rotating beacon light right there. We'll say clear prop. Oh, we could have just shouted it out there too, I suppose. And to get this thing started, let's go full on the prop. We'll do crack the throttle here. And we're going to go fuel pump on, forward on the mixture. Oh, wait, you know what I didn't do, because I'm so used to a Cessna, is that this here has to be set to the left tank. We have no fuel to suck out of with the fuel pump here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. There it goes. Forward on the mixture. There is our fuel flow. Bring it back. Fuel pump off. We're ready to start this baby. So on this, if you just drag it all the way to the right, it's just going to keep on clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. So I use the mouse wheel on this one, the scroll wheel, to be a lot more gentle on it. So we'll go to start position. There it goes. It's not the best way. I would like to see them address that. That needs to be a little bit better, you know? All right, let's bring that power back a little bit here. About, there we go. 900 RPM. Manifold pressure looks good. Let the airplane warm up. Let's grab our ATIS. Our ATIS is going to be 118.025. To change that, we just can go. This is how you change between your VORs and stuff, and then this is your comms, clearly. And we need 118.025. So let's go 118. Passed it. There you go. And 025. That looks good there. Click that.
Lakeland Linder Regal Information Delta. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind 030 at 11. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 25. Dew point -14. Altimeter 3006.
3006.
Arriving runway 05.
Okay, about where I had it.
Departing runway 05.
Runway
Advise
05.
on initial contact, you have Delta.
We will do that. All right, so runway 5 is down that way. I saw that little Cessna a little bit ago. I don't know which way he went. Not worried about it. So that we are good on. And we can even click it back. We don't need that running. Otherwise, it'll just keep on saying it over and over again. And yeah, we're ready to taxi down to runway 5. We'll release our parking brake. And think of anything else I need to do. And it just starts rolling forward. It's got a very nice feel to it. I am using, what is it called? Let me look at the plugins up here. It's called XP Realistic Pro. And what that does is it moves our head around like this. When you're in turbulence, it shuffles the airplane around, the head movement in there, which is really cool as well. So we'll taxi to runway 5 since the winds are out of 030. Let's have a look outside and listen to the sounds. You'll notice how it's very quiet behind us. If we go around this way, you can hear the prop, you can hear the engine more. Very nice sounds in this airplane by default. So we're going to runway 5. Where is that exactly? Well, it's down there. So we're going to go to the left here, cross over that runway, and take that down. That's what little Cessna was. But he's already out of here, so no big deal. We are going to bring our mixture back here because we need to lean it for taxi, which we're doing right now. Let's turn our landing light on. That's another pet peeve of mine with this airplane is the landing light doesn't have a corona. And I'll show you what I mean. On the outside, you see how everything else has coronas, and I'll show you with the strobe lights later on. But here on the nose, there's no corona there. It just lights up as a texture. I would like to see that addressed. That would be nice. Taxi over here. We have a little bit of cloud cover today, so maybe we'll use some instrument lighting. I'll show you what that's like in this airplane. We are going to cross this runway. We're going to go right over this way to runway 5. Because we could take runway 9, which is off on our right, but then we would have a crosswind that we don't really need to have, so not too worried about that. Look at our traffic, we're fine. Yeah, that little Cessna went down here and he took off. He's already out of here. He is like, I'm out of here today, man. There we go. It's pretty good. But yeah, I'm really liking the sounds of this airplane. It's really well done. Let's go ahead and check out the outside sounds again. All right, so yeah, I made a little boo-boo. I had the baggage door still open. I closed it before what you saw there. So that's one thing we forgot to do is close the baggage door. And we're gonna come down here and hold short of 5, and we're going to do our run up. Now we do have a little bit of crosswind, but it's behind us, so I'm not really worried about it. Otherwise, we would do some crosswind, you know, correction on taxi. This is a simulator. In the real world, I would definitely be doing, you know, my crosswind corrections, but being a sim, I'm not really worried about it too much. I've never really seen the wind really try to lift me up before, unless it's really gusting, so not too worried about that. And we'll make a left here and hold short of runway 5. We'll make sure that the flight line's clear, which it looks like it is. I don't see any airplanes out there. And we'll hold short here and do our run up. And I know, I probably would have prevented having that little baggage door open if we would use the checklist, but it's all right. Not a big deal. Oh, hello. All right, we're going to pull that parking brake. This, and we'll go here. Let's bring our power up to about 1800 RPM. That's good right there. And we're going to check these magnetos. Let's go to the right. There's our drop. Back to both. Left one. There's the drop. Back to both. We'll cycle the prop. There's the drop. That looks good. We'll check all of our instruments here. They're in the green. Oil temp is good. Oil pressure is good. We have amps. We have fuel pressure. There's fuel. Where's our vacuum on this airplane? EGT. It's around here somewhere. I don't know. I do not know. Okay, we can pull that back. We'll give ourselves a strobe light. Like that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with the strobe lights. Strobe lights are really cool. They look quite realistic as far as how they flash like an actual Piper. The Coronas are just a little too big for my taste. That's all. I'd like to see that maybe changed. All right, so let's go ahead and close this door. There we go. And you can see it goes to the close there. And then we can hit latch there because you need to engage latch before flight. And I was going to show you the gauge lighting. So you can turn the gauge lighting up right here. And we have this nice yellow glow. This airplane has a red dome light. So if you are flying at night, you can see it. But maybe I'll show you that later on, just how nice that looks. But we don't need it right now. So that's good. All you got to do now is give ourselves the parking brake off, give some power, and line up on runway 5. Double check our sides over here. That looks clear. And that is clear as well. All right. Let's go flying, everybody. I know it takes a while to get going, but I really wanted to go over the small things of this package if you've been on the fence about buying it. We'll go ahead and line up on runway 5. Like this. And we do have a crosswind component, so it would be to the left. So let's go ahead and give a little bit of power here. A little bit more. Oh, mixture needed to be rich. That's what it was. There we go. And full power. Airplane comes alive. Airspeed's alive. We can bring out that crosswind. And on up we go. That's all it is. Positive rate, gear up. Get that 80 knots on our climb here. Looking good. A little bumpy, like I said. On a warm Florida day like this, we'll be getting some bumps, which is fine. After we cross 1,000 feet, and we continue our way up to about 3,000 feet today, we are going to change the manifold pressure and the prop RPM for cruise. So basically 24 and 24. There's about 1,000 feet right there. A little bumpy. Let's go ahead and make a turn to the south. Man, X-Enviro is just absolutely phenomenal looking, isn't it? Ooh, we got real smooth. We got over those bumps pretty quick, right around 1,400 feet. Can't be upset with that. We're on our upwind leg, so we want to make sure that we are doing shallow turns. You know, no more than 20-degree bank. If we were on our downwind, if our airplane was downwind, we could get, you know, turn steeper. And a couple more bumps up here. There we go. Here's the south right there. Very nice indeed. All right, so let's go ahead and bring our manifold pressure back to about 25, and we'll bring the RPMs back to about 24. About right there. That looks pretty good. A little bit more manifold pressure, around 25 inches. Beautiful. And we have a nice 500 foot per minute climb out up to 3,000 feet. We'll start another right turn here. Be more downwind so we can actually turn sharper if we would like. We can do 30-degree bank. And we'll turn towards the west. On up to 3,000 feet. And we'll roll off on the west heading. There is the airport there on our right. And we'll trim this thing out for 3,000 feet. So right now we're going to start bringing the trim down. We're going to manually fly it to 3,000 feet. Right here looks really nice. And then we're going to feel out the airplane. See if it wants to go up, see if it wants to go down, and we'll add trim accordingly. It wants to go up, so I'll get a little more trim down, a little more trim down, a little more trim down. We got a little too much down, so maybe up. That's pretty good right there. Not bad at all. Okay, so there's Lakeland there on our right. Let's use the Lakeland VOR, so let's dial that in. That's going to be 116 for that VOR. So remember, we can hit this button here and switch down to the localizer thing, or VOR. And let's go back down. I'm dealing with the radios and flying at the same time, but that's okay. 116, so 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 0, 0? Yes, it is. We'll make that like this, and this will come to life here. Well, it should. Doesn't look like it really wants to. I'm pretty sure it's just 116. Let me bring this nose back down again. There's the airport there on our right down there. Looks awesome. I am using Ortho 4 XP, so this is actual photo scenery on top of the AutoGen, which is awesome. Makes you feel like you're actually flying in Florida. Maybe it's not 116. I thought it was 116 for Lakeland VOR. Bring that nose down. We're climbing a little bit too much. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it wants to do much of anything at one. It's at 8-0, that's why. It was hard to see that. All right, so let's change this to 0-0. There we go, and boom. There it went. And now it says VOR Lakeland, radial of 238. If we wanted to go to it, or it's the radial that we wanted to go away. 240 now. And that's our DME, so we're 4 miles from the Lakeland VOR. So let's do a 300 radial outbound from the VOR. So to do that, we're gonna go to 30. Oh, I already have it right here. So 300 right there. If we want to fly that, we're gonna get an intercept heading here. So we can even turn the heading bug over here if we want to try to get a nice intercept, which would be about 320 of a heading. So let's do that. Cruising along here. I had to have a sharper angle to the 300 radial, but you can see there's the needle starting to move now. So we are starting to grab that outbound radial from the Lakeland VOR. And basically what you want to do is you don't want to turn too sharp, but we know we need to get to 300 to get on it. So once it gets to about the second mark here, I'll show you with a zoom in here. Once this thing gets to about the second mark there, we're going to start our turn to the left and intercept this radial about right there. Looks good. And we'll kind of turn with it. You don't want to chase it. You just want to turn with it. It's starting to do a pretty good job there. Nice and easy. There's the first one there. Still very shallow, just a 5-degree bank, just flying the needle. Still a little, maybe that was a little too steep. We're gonna wait for it to get closer. But once it gets pretty much on that triangle here on the bottom right here, then we're going to be turning to 300 and we'll be perfectly on that radial outbound. So we're descending. We are instrument flying. There we go. About right there. So we can start our turn again. So if the ATC instructed us to fly an outbound radial from the VOR of 300, this is how we would do it. And we're about on 300 here. Roll off. And how about that? We're on the 300 outbound radial from the Lakeland VOR. All right, let's set up for some stalls. So we're gonna pull our power back here. Prop's gonna go forward. And we are getting into the white arc there, so we can add some flaps here. We're gonna get a little bit of beeping here. That's just letting us know the landing gear is not down, so keep that in mind. Pull the power back here. And low wings don't stall like a Cessna, so keep that in mind. A little more flap. Keep pulling all the way back and watch our vertical speed. Look at that dropping. So we are actually stalling the airplane out. It's just very strange feeling. And kill the power completely. Right rudder here. There it is. It's completely stalling right now, as you can see. We're dropping. Recover it. Let's bring these flaps up because that's so annoying, that sound. Normally you would do it in increments, but I just don't. I want that sound to be gone, so. All right, let's make a right turn here. And let's do a power on stall. So we're going to slow down again. This time we're going to be facing towards the east. A little bit of power here, so it'll shut that up, that horn. It's about 80 knots right there. That's not too bad. All right. And let's pitch this baby up. And we're going to go full power, and you're going to see there goes. We had to step on the ball there. So we're right on the ball. And we're going to stall this based on the angle of attack here. Pulling back, a little more right rudder here. It's about to stall. There's the stall right there. And we recover. All right, beautiful. Yeah, we know. So that's not too bad. Let's get back down to 3,000 feet. We'll do some steep turns in the airplane. And we'll be pretty much prepared for it here. So pull this back. And we can also go ahead and get this working again. So let's go ahead and pull our RPM back to 2400. And we'll go about right there. We'll go 25 on the manifold pressure. A bit more power than that. Let the descent happen. That's about 25 and 24. That's pretty good right there. Let the nose come down. That's our descent. And look at that. Regains airspeed pretty quickly. Not too shabby if you ask me. All right, we're about to 3,000 feet here. We'll be there very shortly, and we're going to set up for a steep turn to the left. So actually, let's go ahead and get on an eastern heading here, and we don't even have to look at our heading indicator here. All we have to do is look at the ground. We're doing VFR flying, so we're just looking at these roads that run to the east. This is a pretty good spot right here, actually, to see those. And we'll roll off right here. So we're facing east now. And we'll do a steep turn to the left. So we're going to have the wings on this line right here. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to trim to do it. So we're going to pull the trim back a little bit like this and then start our steep turn. That'll help us out here. There's the turn right there. And we're just looking outside. One more pull. One more steep angle. There we go. Let it come back around. Still getting used to these low wings, man. They're so different. But coming up on that eastern road system here, there we go. And let's do one to the right. So one to the right. Let that nose drop a little bit. I can already tell just by looking outside that we're a little off of our picture. I'm gonna get this mental image right here of what we got. Losing a lot of altitude on that one. Damn. Not doing so well on this one. I'll be honest. And we'll roll off here to the east again. All right, so let's go back to the airport and we'll use the VOR to do that. So let's go ahead and we have the VOR, Lakeland VOR in here. So we can just kind of rotate this around until we get to the VOR. Once we're to the VOR, we can, let's descend to about 2,000 feet here. So we have two now, and we'll have a spoke come to us just like this. So a heading of about 135 we want to fly. So 135, let's go ahead and make that turn. Move this mouse out of the way. About right, 130, 135. We'll get a little bit of an intercept about right there. That looks pretty good. Yeah, steep turns, they're different than a Cessna, man, in an aero like this. But I like it. I like the challenge. I need to do a lot more practice with it and get better with this airplane. We have a nice descent, about 500 feet per minute here, to get down to 2,000 feet. And there's the needle right there, so we can go about 135 here to the left. About right there looks good. And DME shows us 6 miles from the VOR. And we're looking good. We're to the VOR, 6 miles. And we should be able to see the airport right off our nose, which we can. And we're going to set up for a right downwind for the runway 5. Actually, we're probably going to be well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we'll do a left downwind. That's what I meant to say. For runway 5. Right there, because we taxied out of this ramp up here, right there is where we taxied out. It's done to descend and maintain 800 feet here. So we go forward on the prop. Mixture rich. Start slowing this puppy down. I'm going to join the arrival. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our... I like to put my heading bug on... I actually like to have it on the active runway. So runway 5, which we already have pretty much right there. So now I know which way the runway is heading. I mean, I know that, but you know, it just helps. Anything helps. We're going to join the left downwind for the runway. We're about 3.2 miles. You can see the needle's already starting to move away from us because we're getting closer to that VOR, and the airplane is very sensitive. About 90 knots here is looking good. We'll be picking up some turbulence, I am sure of that. Another cool trick is we know where our runway heading is, so we're going to put the tail of the airplane on the reciprocal heading. So we can start doing that right when we get near these lakes. The reason why you fly a tight pattern next to the airport, you don't want to be way out there, is in case of an engine failure, you can glide back to the airport. No problem. All right, this looks pretty good here. Let's start our turn to the right. Remember, we are downwind, so we can make a hefty turn if we would like. Maintain that 800 feet here. Yeah, a little bit of power, so we shut that thing up. And remember, we had that heading bug there, so there's our roll-off right here. So we're on a nice left downwind for the runway 5. And we can see it right out our left side there. There's the runway over there. So we're pretty much even with it. When we're 45 degrees, we're going to go ahead and start adding some flap in here. So let's go flaps. Trim the airplane out a little bit here. A little bit of power. Looking good right here. And we're going to start our base turn now. And I'm going to drop the gear. I'll add some more flap here too. Next setting the flap. Looks good. Looking all right here. Got the runway in sight. We're on a left base for it. It's not that one right there on our left. It's runway 5. It's still out here a ways. I've got the threshold in sight. More power than this. Make me happy. Now in the manual, it does tell you to you have to add power like every so often in this airplane. You don't fly it like a Cessna. That's one thing I did learn. All right, and landing flaps. Landing gear's down, 3 green, flaps are set for landing. 70 knots, looking good. We've got the runway in sight. And one thing I learned about a low wing airplane very quickly with this one in particular is that you do not want to just kill the power as you come over the piano keys on the runway. You really want to be smooth and easy with it, kind of like a Baron, to set it down. Otherwise, you'll have a plunker for a landing. Let me tell you. All right, coming down on the glide slope now. We're a little high, but there's our first red light. We want 2 white, 2 red. Gonna pitch for that airspeed and power for altitude. Pretty good right here. Crab into the wind like that. Nice and easy here. And for a crosswind landing, we have this crab here. We're gonna throw it out with the right rudder here. Just a little bit of right rudder and left aileron. And we get into the round out, so pull a little bit of power out, not all of it. A little bit more right rudder than that. There we go, like this. A little bit more power out. And we are down. Woo! Woo, hello. Pull that back like that. That works for me. I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, I'm very new to this airplane, and it flies nothing like a Cessna, so You have to learn the tricks of the trade with a Piper. Lowing airplane like this. We can go ahead and bring our flaps up. And we will taxi in back to the FBO. Put a power here. And turn our strobe lights off. We don't need those on anymore. We'll keep the lane light on as we have a taxi light. I haven't found a switch for just a taxi light by itself. Kick open that door too. Get some air flowing in here on this warm day. Outside air temperature, Fahrenheit. Look at that. About 82 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and lean for taxi. And we have our strobe light off. We turn our landing light off now. We're almost back to the ramp. More power than this. And I would say that's a pretty successful day of flying. Still getting used to this thing. It is, like I said, it's a animal of its own, but I really have been enjoying it. And I think you guys will as well. Pull in here. We'll park next to the 185. There's a couple 185s here. They're static airplanes. I'll probably remove them with the overlay editor. Actually, let's taxi into the FBO where the Phillips 66 is. Just because we can. We'll park up next to this PC-12. Or is that a King Air? That might be a King Air C-90 or something. It looks like a PC-12 to me. Yeah, it's a PC-12. Yeah, we'll park up next to him. And you can open this little door here and have more sound if you wanted, but it's really loud out there, so yeah, let's not do that. Come over here like this. And we'll make a turn here like this. That's pretty good right there. Let's go ahead and kill the engine. So mixture to idle cutoff. We can go to here and go all the way left with the key. And then we can turn the master battery switch off. Prop is in the way. There we go. Beautiful. And that concludes our flight with the Piper Aero 3 from Just Flight. Again, $41.99. A little steep, but it's a really good airplane. I really do like it. Let's go to the outside view here. And let's put the tie downs on. Oh, we have to have the parking brake set. Duh. There we go, like that. We can go back outside again and turn those on like that. And there we have it. We can open that little side door up if we wanted again. But you could always be like me and leave it open. For the most part. But anywho, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.